Saturday, the dojo stood for Donuts and Joe, or Donuts and Coffee, as we fortified ourselves to march in the Multnomah Village Days parade. It was an excellent event, and everyone did a great job organizing. The kids had a lot of fun. But I got into a conversation with a woman who had been a social worker who pointed out that characters in costume, little girls often want to hug them, but little boys may or may not want to hug them, and a certain percentage of those boys want to attack and beat the characters in costume. I know it's irrational, and I certainly don't act on my impulses. But when I see one of these cartoony, oh hi, yeah, we see you, nice dog. But when I see one of these characters, I feel uneasy. I think they're going to harm me. I make sure I know where my children are. I prepare for different scenarios of combat in my mind, and I know other people suffer from this as well. Evidenced by an episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin keeps encountering this giant chicken, either a person in a chicken suit or an actual giant chicken, and they do a lot of combat throughout the episode. There were certainly a lot of bagpipes and fancy cars at this parade. It was really wonderful that the entire community was able to come out and celebrate. I mean, this is really the word community when you have so many different groups that turn out. You have religious groups, music groups. There's some people making political. Oh my God! And there was that thing. Anyway, there were all sorts of different get-ups, and people were allowed to let their freak flag fly, however that may be. You had a giant puppet, and there was that woman hula hooping away, and this was the high school team. They were passing out the schedule for high school football. They looked, oh, and yeah, I kept my eye on whatever that bear was up to. Obviously no good. So now when I'm playing back this video, you bet I'm keeping my eye on that bear and that apple to see if careful analysis can show what they're up to, because they're probably up to no good. Yeah, they're being nice with the kids, but you got to keep your eye on those mascot, large, cartoonish costumes. Here's something I can relate to a little bit more. These are some concerned citizens voicing their opinion against the coal to be transported from Idaho, to the Pacific Ocean through Portland. Parades such as these are largely for people who have a cool car and they just want to be in a parade and dress up, and I applaud that. That is letting your freak flag fly in a very fine way, although a more establishment sort of way. This was a classic Camaro, and yeah, here you have the barfing teen, Barfboro. You know what? I'm guessing that this man has a business that helps people quit smoking, but I never figured it out. But he obviously feels strongly not to smoke. I approve his public outreach here. And how many people have a fire engine in their garage? This was an interesting conversation. I was filming, and there's a few men wearing dresses, and that guy in the back about to put on the pink wig, he said, "Oh, you're going to put this on YouTube, aren't you?" And I said I would put it on YouTube, but if you didn't want me to, I wouldn't put it there. And I did point out that if he didn't want people to see him wearing a dress, maybe he shouldn't be in a parade. He acknowledged that there was some validity to this point and didn't make a further stink. I never did figure this vehicle out either, but it was elaborate and put together and made a statement. And this man just had a flag on the back of his motorcycle, and he was very proud of it. So the barf man was around dressed as a cigarette butt, and of course the kids were getting pretty riled up to attack this mascot. Oh, call Homeland Security! Finally, the parade got going, and the kids began busting out their awesome martial arts moves, and I calmed down a bit, and we just celebrated along with the denizens of Multnomah Village and the other people who showed up to enjoy the show. I was where I needed to be, surrounded by martial artists, black belts, people practicing, punching and kicking, because I knew that Apple and that bear was out there. At least that cigarette butt identified itself as an evil character, kept us all on our toes. I admit I could certainly benefit from martial arts. The self-discipline, the self-defense are all things that would help me with this deep-seated fear of costumed mascots. Also, I fear the answer is immersion therapy, which means next year at the Multnomah Village Days Parade, I have to dress up as a costumed mascot. The day ended without incident, and we all had a pretty good time. Uh-oh, call Homeland Security.